Welcome to Contemplative Living, where we view contemplations for the week to have a better understanding of our spiritual paths. This is Contemplative Living with Dave Bennett.
Hey, welcome to another Contemplative Living, where we talk about all different kinds of concepts that bring contemplation into our daily lives. It makes it more of a way of living contemplatively. Easy for me to say this morning, contemplatively. All right, so, St. Francis said, never be in a hurry. All right, so I guess that means that we should calm down today. Never be in a hurry. Do everything quietly and in a calm spirit. Do not lose your inner peace for anything whatsoever, even if your whole world seems upset. Okay, well, so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Is we're going to talk about the we're going to talk about peace and love that we have inside us and how we can use that. Because we've been talking on these contemplative livings about, peace and love and our internal, developing that internal peace and love. But, how do we use that? Hey, Travis, good morning. Glad to see you're here. So, the peace and love we have inside can grow and connect with others through all our relationships. So it's important to understand that, we have relationships with not just our family, but with everyone we have interactions with. At work, at play, on the web, we have relationships. And if we allow ourselves to connect to others with that calm, centering peace that we have inside us, it grows that connection with others. It grows and matures that connection with others. Hi, Justine. Glad you're here. Thanks for shouting out. And that's what's important in life, is that interconnection with everyone. If there's one thing that I saw in my near-death experience, it was that life review and how everything that we do connects with everyone and everything in our lives. So the more that we recognize that if we spend the dedicated time to grow that peace and that unconditional love that is already residing within us, but if we grow that connection, that it extends out and connects through all our relationships. And isn't that what's really important? That we work on our relationships with everyone, So we kind of want to do that in order to bring more peace into our lives and share in spiritual communities that will amplify our influence, helping to make the world a more peaceful and loving place. So if we share ourselves from that place of peace and love, and we do it within our spiritual communities, it amplifies that influence of peace and love. Okay? So that's how we make the world a better place. It's not from the top down, it's from us, all of us, working from the bottom up. And that's how we change the world. And that's how we create a verdant, green, loving place to live on this earth. And we start at home. We start at home. We start with ourselves. We start with our family. We start with our friends. We start with all of our activities. When we're at work, when we're just out and about. So we need to, and that's how we build our spiritual communities, is by sharing that peace and love that we have within us. I like to try to do that on a daily basis in my interactions with people. And I spend a lot of time online and connecting with people there. And so I try to bring that stream of loving consciousness that lives within me and is connected to the higher, greater consciousness. And I try to portray that online in all my social media posts on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And I find that when you do that, then people reciprocate. People tend to reach out. They want to be a part of that. Along your path, learn how to find trust in yourself. This is critical. In your inner strength, courage, and inspiration. So, on our paths, as we're walking through our lives, many times we have so much self doubt. We don't trust ourselves. We see ourselves as inadequate a lot of times. Well, what we need to do is learn how to find trust in ourselves. Trust is a hard one. I had lost trust at one point in my life. I had, many of you who have read my book and stuff know my story about my early childhood and young adult life. I was tossed from one family to another. Didn't feel like I really had a sense of family or anything like that. And I had lost trust, not only in the people that were supposed to be supporting me, but also in myself. Because how do you trust? How do you trust when everything seems at loss? Everything is in chaos. And so you see yourself as and I've worked with other people who've lived in the same situation as I have growing up, and I've seen where they chose they chose to um to step back and not be their courageous self. And so once we trust in ourselves, okay, yeah, we've got a lot of hangups, we've got issues that we need to work on in ourselves, but I trust myself to be true. I trust myself to be who I am. From that seed, we start to grow our strength and our courage, because once we can trust in ourselves, then we can step out in the day. And yeah, okay, other people may not be supporting us. We may be having uh, you know issues with the circumstances that we're finding ourselves in. But when we have trust in ourselves, we have the strength to persevere through whatever the circumstances are. As consciousness continues to grow, our hearts make more and more connection to other hearts. So we were kind of talking about this before, but oh, hi Shirley, I see you're on. Sorry, I didn't see when you popped in. Um, yeah, our consciousness is not static. It needs to be fed with that love, with that peace that resides within us. And when we feed it, our consciousness grows, it expands. And it allows us then to reach out even further. When we open our hearts, we can make more connections to other hearts. And this is critical in life, because, when we're not connected with others, and this is really, really important at this time because of the separation that everyone's feeling right now. that sense of being, restricted and not able to move about the way we normally do. We need to continually foster our interconnection with our higher consciousness, because then we feel that connection. We feel that interconnection with all other beings. And when we don't have a sense of connection, it hurts us. It hurts us physically, mentally, emotionally. And we need that. We need that in life in order to thrive. So work on that. Work on that so that you can thrive. And because we are indeed radiating peace from the inside out. I find that knowing this and understanding this, that as I developed my inner peace, as I work on touching and connecting to that unconditional love that is a part of my true essence, that I recognize that when I connect to that, it strengthens that radiance that is me. Okay. This is how we use that inner peace is by allowing ourselves to be totally enveloped in our inner peace. And when we're in that space, it begins to glow, it begins to radiate, it begins to reach out beyond us. And this sort of radiance is multidimensional. It's not just in your physical presence. It goes beyond your physical presence. This peace can affect many people, especially when we direct it to those we love, to our community, to the projects that we're working on. When we instill this peace and unconditional love that resides within us into our activities, into our day-to-day lives, it makes a difference and it empowers our life. Looking closely, we discover that waves of peace are also waves of unconditional love. Love is the key to everything. And that inner peace that we have comes from that divine essence that is who we really are. And that is love. So for us to look closely and discover our divine essence, we're projecting not only the peace, but we're projecting that unconditional love. And that is the key to the universe. That is what ties us all together. We find that peace, that pure love, is the spiritual heartbeat that connects us all. Here in physical life, what keeps us going, what keeps us driving is our heart, and that constant flow from our heart that nourishes every cell in our body. It brings that oxygen to every cell. It helps us to, that heartbeat, that rhythm is what keeps us going, keeps us moving. And it gives us energy, it gives us drive. So when we recognize that pure love, unconditional love, is the spiritual heartbeat, then we can see or understand how it's the driving force of the universe. It's the driving force that connects us all to one another. And so with that, we're able to move the mountain. We're able to move the mountain because that pure love is the driving force. It's that rhythm that we have that connects us. It's that rhythm that we have that moves us. I like to connect to it sometimes, even with music, because that constant rhythm. For the longest time in my personal ceremonies, when I would create a ceremony for myself, I used to use the rhythm of the heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. That rhythm helped to, wow, that's weird. Okay. Um, that rhythm helped motivate me and bring me into that spiritual space. When you think about your heartbeat, boom, 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 it brings you, it calms us. It brings us into ourselves. It helps us to recognize our divine nature. And that helps when then working with whoever, working with our family, our friends, whatever, that you can feel that connection. You can feel it. That it's, I know I use the term interconnection because it's a connection that's deeper than just the physical. Okay. So I'm hoping and I'm wishing for all of you that you find that peace, you find that love. And like St. Francis said, never be in a hurry. Do everything quietly, in a calm spirit. Because if we can keep that inner peace for everything, keep that inner peace for everything whatsoever, even in the world when it feels like it's very chaotic, that we're going to benefit. We're the beneficiaries of that calm and that peace. And it radiates out into our world and to our friends, and it helps them as well. So I'm wishing you a week of calm, peace, and tolerance. Namaste.